security. Today, we will delve into the innovative features of the Entity Locker, exploring how it can revolutionize the way we handle the sensitive informations. This is an exciting opportunity to learn about the best practices and the latest advancement in our field. I am particularly excited to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Prasun Kumar, the expert in Entity Locker National E-Governance Division, NeGD. He has rich experience of more than 14 years in various large-scale government projects of NeGD like DigiLocker, NED, ABC, and Entity Locker, etc. Good expertise in crafting the strategies to align the project and manage the complex workflows, ensuring timely delivery of critical milestones. Mr. Karan Tandon, expert, Entity Locker, National E-Governance Division, with over 14 years of experience in diverse e-governance initiatives, including DigiLocker, API Setu, and Entity Locker. He specializes in API integration, collaborating with various stakeholders to advance digital India initiatives. His expertise contributes significantly to enhancing the digital infrastructure and services in governance. With their extensive experience in this field, Mr. Prasun Kumar, Mr. Karan Tandon will guide us through the key functionalities of Entity Locker and share their valuable insights on its practical applications. Please feel free to engage with us throughout the session. We encourage you to put your questions in the chat box and share your thoughts in the chat. We will take your questions at the end. So let's make this an interactive and enriching experience for everyone. Once again, thank you all for being here today. Without further delay, let's welcome Mr. Prasun to share his insights with us.
Namaskar. Thank you, sir. Namaskar, everybody, and thank you for joining. My name is Prasun. So I'll take you through a product which has been recently launched by Ministry of Electronics and IT, National E-Governance Division, which is an extension of DigiLocker family itself. DigiLocker has proved its mettle for the past 9 years now, and we have come across to launch Entity Locker in the month of August itself. And this is nothing but a locker which is for the organization. So the basic difference between DigiLocker and Entity Locker is that DigiLocker is for the citizens, for the individuals. You can fetch your individual certificates into your locker, and Entity Locker is for the organization. So the organizations can come onto this platform and they can fetch their entity-related documents. So without a further delay, I would like to present you with the presentation. We will take you through what Entity Locker is. This is for the organizations, MSMEs, trusts, and societies. So what we'll do is, can we have the next slide, please? Yeah, so I'll take you through the concepts of Entity Locker. We will talk about what Entity Locker is, how it has been, what would be the ecosystem, who are the stakeholders, the requesters, the issuers, who are the users of this Entity Locker systems. We will also go through the use cases as in the procurement portals or licenses by the industries could be one of the major use cases here. Commodity boards in India can be onboarded onto Entity Locker for various other use cases. The banks can have their loan documents and everything. Documents required for the registration of regulatory bodies as well. So if in case we talk about the regulatory bodies like MCA or IRDAI or SEBI or RBI, so they can also register onto this portal and have their own documentation storehouse. We'll also talk about the current status, though it has been recently launched, but we have managed some of the organizations to come on board as issuing authorities and also as participants or as users. And then my colleague Karan will take you through the onboarding mechanism, how exactly an organization can come onto this platform and onboard themselves or register themselves. Next slide, please. So this is, as we spoke about, this is what Entity Locker is. It's a cloud-based platform for storing, sharing, verifying digital documents. And this can be done for the entities. When we say entities, we mean the organizations, the private organizations, the government organizations, the MSMEs, trusts, societies, everything. So there are three major stakeholders here. The first one would be the issuing authorities. When we say issuing authorities, we mean the organizations who are coming onto this platform and issuing some kind of a document. So if in case MCA, we can take an example of MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. They issue a corporate identification number, SIN, and DIN certificate, so they can be issuing authorities here. Second one would be the requesting authorities. These organizations are those who come onto this platform and requests or consumes these documents. So banks would be one of the major examples. The insurance companies would be coming here and consume the KYC documents and many other documents in order to process the application and give the user, the entities or the individuals to many other documents. And of course, the companies, the entities who can come onto this platform are the major stakeholders. They come onto this platform and use or avail these services. Next slide, please. These are the key features of Entity Locker. So first one is the authorized person and the company verification. So only an authorized person with the authorization letter and of course nominated by the organization can register an organization onto this platform. And when the company comes onto this platform, they have to give certain, which we will take you through in the further slides. They have to go through a verification process where they can upload their verification documents and the numbers which is being validated at the back end with our system. Second would be they can, of course, this is a web portal, so this can be accessed and documents issued by any government or regulatory body. So if in case RBI issues any kind of certificates or any of the regulators issue any kind of certificates that can be accessed by the organizations coming onto this platform. Further, these can be securely shared by the agencies or partners. So if in case when organizations comes onto this platform and wants to share some kind of document with the entities or the individuals, they can share it through the functionalities, which we will definitely talk about in the further slides. Whenever there is a sharing happens, so there are two kinds of sharing which happens. One is from the issued document section and the uploaded section. When we say uploaded section, there is a vault which facility also has been given into this portal, where I can share my documents, which I have scanned it and kept it in my vault, that can also be shared with the entities and individuals with my digital signature. So these are the major features, the key features of Entity Locker system. Next slide, please. Now we'll go through the use cases. So there are many of the use cases which can be done through this portal. So we have listed out a few of them. The major one which we think of that can be the procurement portals. So be it GEM or IREPS or CPP or state procurement portals or any of the e-commerce platforms, they can use these platform for the seller registrations, bidding processes. So if in case you can see, there are, for the verifications, there are certain documents. We have listed out certain documents, and these documents are needed for the seller registration to be done on any of the portals. So the green ones means that Entity Locker already possesses that. So Aadhaar number or the personal PAN numbers, we do have those kind of data. And the SIN, the organization PAN, GSTN, these kind of data, the validation can be done through this platform. We have the Udyog Aadhaar, that is the Udyam Aadhaar number as well from the MSME. When we talk about the bidding process, again, the SIN, PAN, GSTN, and Aadhaar numbers are needed for validation of any of the organizations coming onto the platform or bidding for any of the these portals. So these kind of use cases are we are focusing on. So be any of the private players as well, the Amazon or Flipkart or any of the e-commerce platform may come onto this platform, and then they can have the seller registration. This is an requester flow which will come across here. Next slide, please. Secondly, there are many commodity boards, to be very precise. There are somewhere around 15, 16 commodity boards in India. So we have segregated into the KYC processes. So the individual KYCs, the entity KYCs, the sectoral means those documents which are used by the sectors, specific sectors, they also can be used. And there are transactional KYC processes as well. So again, you can see these are the documents required, which is needed for the individual KYCs or the entity to be validated. And then these are the issuing authorities. So majorly, if you can see the percentage, major documents and the issuing authorities are already on board with Entity Locker. And as we speak, we are already getting into the issuing authorities to issue those kind of certificates onto this platform. And just to specify, the orange one, the utility bills, we are already in talks, and probably in few days time or a week's time, we will be getting those on board as well. Next slide, please. So there are many licenses issued by various industries. So these also can be one of the use cases where the manufacturing industry, be it the construction industry or be it the hospitality industry, there are many certificates which are being used for issuing those kind of licenses. So that can be a major use case, of course, where the companies who register themselves onto those platforms to take these kind of licenses or certificates, they can be validated onto that platform. And of course, they can issue those kind of certificates onto this platform as well. So be it the hospitality sector, the FSSAI, we already have that food safety license. So any food or tourism industry, they come onto this platform, and then they can fetch these certificates, or probably if in case they go on to this FSSAI website and register themselves as a license or certificate owner, then they can register themselves and they can take these kind of certificates and be uploaded onto that platform. Next slide, please. Again, banks, we cannot forget when we talk about the requesting organizations. I gave the example when we were talking about the overview as well, that we cannot forget the banks. They are the major stakeholders where as far as this consuming of the digital documents comes into play. So the individual KYCs, be it anything, the entity KYC, the sectoral KYCs, utility bills or business plans. So these, what all documents can be issued by any of the issuing authorities, that can be fetched by any of the organizations going onto that platform. But there must be some kind of certificates like bank statements, or probably the audited statements or ITRs, which are not there. The issuing authorities are not present, or they are not being issued by any kind of authorities. So that what can be done is they can be scanned and kept into the enterprise vault. And then again, they can be shared, as I spoke earlier, they can be shared with any of the entities or individuals with a digital signature. So these are the use cases what we have thought of. And of course, out of these four are out of the many use cases which can come through. So I would also tell the participants and ask the participants to help us grow when this new kind of platform is already there, and when we have already proved that with 9 years of DigiLocker coming into existence, this is what we have come through. Next slide, please. So these are documents required for the registration of the regulatory body. So be it MCA, or NGO Darpan or pollution control boards, EPFO, these kind of documents. Again, not mention that green are ones what we possess, and there are some issuing authorities we are already in talks with to come to bring these documents on board. Next slide, please. This is again these DGFT or BIS or FSSAI. These are all the regulatory bodies where we are focusing on. We have already issued letters to them asking them to come on board or asking them to come bring their certificates on board, or at least consume these certificates while registration of any of the organizations. Next slide, please. So this is the current status. As on date, we have, it's a very fresh and on a very nascent stage. So there are 215 entities who are already registered with us onto this Entity Locker platform. And if you talk about the issuing authorities, there are 46 issuing authorities who are already on board, not to mention that MCAs and GSTN or PAN, CBDT, they're all on board. So they can be any of the organizations who come on board onto this Entity Locker platform can fetch these kind of certificates. The Entity Locker Office Memorandum, that is the OM, is released recently on 6th of August. And the letters to all the chief secretaries, central ministries, and SEBI has gone for adoption of Entity Locker nationally. Communication letters, as I told earlier, that communication letters to all the regulatory organizations, including GEM, NGO Darpan, CPP, IRPS, DGFT, everything has been sent off asking them to come on board and help us to grow this platform. Moving further, this is the Entity Locker application flow. So this is how we will show you that how this is being done. When the organization comes on board, then what exactly are the steps they have to do, they have to undergo to actually register themselves. So I would request my colleague Karan to please take the audience through this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prasan. So from here on, we'll take a look at various processes through which one entity can register and utilize the Entity Locker ecosystem. To become a partner with Entity Locker, there is a 3-step process. First, we need to verify the authorized person, which is done through his Aadhaar verification. That authorized person, once he is verified, then the second steps comes for verifying the entity. We have given multiple options because there are we are catering to multiple types of entities. So whichever registration documentation is available with them, it could be a descendant, it could be Udyam Aadhaar, it could be their organization PAN. They'll have to key in those details. And these details will be individually hit to their respective databases. And once the verification comes to us, so step 1 is in the individual's verification, step 2 is the entity's verification. Once these 2 steps are done, then a legal agreement is signed between the person and the Entity Locker ecosystem that this person has been legally authorized to open this Entity Locker account and operate it on behalf of this organization. So moving ahead to the next slide. As I mentioned, the first step, this is just a screenshot of how the Entity Locker ecosystem will look like. The user who's registering will have to put in his Aadhaar number, get it verified through an Aadhaar OTP system. After his verification, going to the, if he is not an already existing user of the DigiLocker system, there is a single sign-in, sign-off facility also available. He can then and there create his account and get himself verified. He will not have to go back and come back. He can remain in the same ecosystem and get his account created and get himself verified. Next slide, please. And then comes the entity registration, where he'll have to choose either one of those documents. As I mentioned, it could be send-in, it could be Udyam Aadhaar, or it could be the organization PAN. Whichever document is readily available with them, they can use them, put in the relevant details, and once they click on submit, we push through APIs these details to the relevant organization, get it verified. Next slide, please. And again, as it said, this is for the Udyam Aadhaar, and can we go to the next one, please? This is for the organization PAN. So each document, whichever the entity, the user selects, the respective parameters will be shown to the user. He or she will have to fill in those details, get it self-verified. We take a consent from the user that whatever the data they're filling is right, and they are agreeing to our terms of use. You can see the click wrap, that checkbox mentioned at the bottom once they're clicking on submit. And after they consent, we share that data with the organization, get it verified. And once a verified data is given back to us, then we go to the last point, which is the agreement. The user has digitally signed an agreement stating that this account has been created by such and such user for this entity, and he is the authorized representative. And this is legally binding. So after this whole steps are completed, then an entity locker is created. So we take care of all the verification of the user and the entity before creating an account. So we know that this is a verified entity and the user is authorized to create this account. Now what you're able to see on the screen is a landing page of once the entity locker is created. We have tried to keep it as simple as possible, try to make things, to come to people as naturally as possible. So if you see on the left hand side, we have kept the actionable items, and on the main screen, we keep all the documents which the entity can pull and which are already pulled by the organization. Can you go to the next slide, please? As we mentioned, the entity locker ecosystem has issuers and requesters. So in this slide, we are showing the various issuers who are already registered in the ecosystem. And whenever a new entity creates their account and they are verified, they have an option to pull in all of those documents which are issued by various issuers and regulators. It could be Udyam Aadhaar, it could be certificates, trade licenses. So if we go to the next slide, we will just show you. We are giving here an example for this entity, which is pulling their Udyam certificate. So as you see, they'll have to put in their Udyam number and the registered mobile number, but the entity name and date of incorporation is already pre-fetched from the previous verification we have already done to create that account. This helps us to safeguard that the rightful document is given to the rightful entity. If anybody has any other entity's detail, they cannot simply fetch it. So this security mechanism has been built into the ecosystem. And once this document is fetched into the system, it is on the similar lines of DigiLocker, it is an API integration. So the data directly comes from the source of truth, and it is available in that ecosystem of that entity. Next slide. So as every entity creates their own documents, their own purchase orders, their own audit reports, and there are multiple documentation of legal validity which is created inside an organization. So we have given them, this is different from DigiLocker, we have given them a storage space called as an enterprise vault. So this space allows an entity to upload documents which are internally created by them. This is a secure storage, and this facility allows them to digitally sign and share these documents across to regulators or requesting parties also, together with the documents which are already issued to them. So so what we say is that entity locker is an extension to DigiLocker for entities. For entities, we've given them provision to pull the documents which various issuers issue to them, and given them facility to upload their own self documents, get them self-authenticated, self-vetted, self-signed, and then share it across to the regulators. So we are trying to create this complete ecosystem of getting access to documents from the regulators, and in the meantime also put in your documents and create this whole highway of document exchange across from issuers to regulators. So here we are just trying to show there is, so we have built in a facility that the documents can be shared, as I mentioned, through APIs or through one enterprise entity locker account to another through the inbox outbox system. How you do that is, whichever document you want to share with you, there is a sharing option. You go to the share option, you will select the organization through their SIN, through the Udyam Aadhaar, or through the PAN. Any of these variables, you can just put in the details, you'll find the entity details. You can find them and you can directly share. So from the backend APIs, all these documents which you're sharing, it will go from your inbox to from your outbox to the other entity locker accounts inbox. So you can seamlessly share. You don't have to actually do an IT integration to share your documents across to regulators. However, if you want, you can do it through APIs as well. If you can go to the next screen, it will be showing about the outbox. So similarly, if you see here, whatever documents are shared, coming to the inbox or going to the outbox, all activity logs are maintained and everything is kept, that who was the admin who had logged in, at what time the document has been shared, and also It also gives us the ability to share a document till a particular, to add a validity to a document. So you can say that I'm sharing a document from this period to this period. After this link or this document will not be valid and it will not be available in that other person's locker. So all of these facilities have been built in so that we take care of a document, and every document has certain time frame, and to that time frame you are able to share the document across various entity lockers. Now, since this setup is created for an entity, so there will be multiple users and there will be a management of hierarchy. So that's why we call it a user management system, which is built in. Every user has to do their Aadhaar KYC, basically Aadhaar authentication, to come to this platform, and then various accesses for editing, for viewing can be individually being governed by the central administrator. So this also has, obviously, an organization will be having multiple people, users who will be handling the account, but we don't want everybody to have. Somebody probably will just need a viewing access. Somebody would actually want to edit and change settings. So that all is also taken care of in the user management system. Next. So I'll end with this and back to sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasun. Thank you, Karan, for your insightful session on this entity locker. And I will now open this session to the Q&A. So any questions? Any questions from the participant sides?
So we have, I think, a couple of questions coming into our way. Okay, what is the purpose of entity locker? Sure. So thank you for the question. I think the name has not been mentioned. So any which ways, so purpose of entity locker is to create an ecosystem wherein the organizations come on to a particular platform. They can fetch their own documents, which is being issued by various other regulatory or the issuing authorities. And at the same point of time, you can that organizations can share with their authenticated e-sign or digital signatures that can be shared through various other entities and individuals. So there is, I would like to mention here, there is a facility in Entity Locker wherein you can go on to your issue document section and you can share that particular document with the entity. That is okay. But that can also be shared with an individual giving their Aadhaars. So this was a facility which was we built wherein keeping in mind the auto organizations or basically like Uber or Blue Smart or those kind of organizations wherein they own the vehicles and they can give that RCs, registration of vehicles certificates or those cards to the drivers. So this also can be a facility. So entity locker, yes, it has been made for organizations to have a digital ecosystem around them.
Yeah, I have a small query. When we share the documents to a particular entity, that will go to their email, Outlook, or into their digital locker platform, where it will go.
Sir, Sir, if you're sharing a document through entity locker, it will go to that other organization's entity locker inbox.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Yes.
So only the authorized person of that entity will have access to that data, right?
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
That's great. That's great.
Okay. Okay, so there's one more user, Mr. Naveen Oswal. Can we become technology service provider with the entity DigiLocker? Okay, so Mr. Naveen, yes, there are partners who can come on board, and I don't know, what do you mean about, by saying that technology service providers? But there are two kind of organizations who can come onto this entity locker platform. One is the issuing authorities, who can issue some kind of certificates to the organizations. The requesting authorities who can consume these digital documents to produce any kind of further documents, and the entities or the organizations who can come on board as a user. So these kind of three kind of organizations can come on board. I'm not sure about the technology service provider, but we will get back to you if in case, these kind of arrangements come in future.
For digital signatures, you will have to have authorization. So as I mentioned in the user management section, if a person has given you access to edit and share documents, and you have a digital signature available, then only you'll be able to sign documents on behalf of that entity and share it across. You will have to you'll need approvals and authority for that.
Okay, so one more question is, through this entity locker, can we have upload our entire documents? Yes, of course, you can. First of all, there are two features. One, you can go on to the issue document section, and as Karan explained, that you can fetch those documents. And the second is you can scan those documents and upload it and keep it in your enterprise vault.
And also, just to add to it, we have already tested the enterprise vault system, and it caters to all type of documents: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, even WinRAR, zip files, and it also can take care of documents of large volume as well, and sharing is possible.
Okay, I think Karan just answered one of the questions. That was what kind of documents could be stored.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can have further questions.
Can we just go? Can we use this to validate other entity like customers or vendors? So basically, yes. Once on the requester side, when you integrate with Entity Locker, you can ask other entities to share their original documents across to you via APIs. And by doing so, you will not actually need to validate. You will be keeping a record validated data coming from the direct source of truth.
Okay, we can have some more questions. Okay, so is there any storage restriction on cloud? As of now, what ministry has given us this thing guidelines that the enterprise vault is having a 10 GB of space. Now, this 10 GB is not a restricted one. Of course, we understand that kind of documents which come into with the organizations that can be varied. So that can be, on the mutual discussions, we can definitely have that discussion how to customize these spaces. So as of now, the usual spaces 10 GB.
We have started off with 10 GB, and as per the entity's use case, relevant use case, we can obviously discuss on.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the documents can be shared only with those companies who have already taken this registration, or with external companies as well.
This is a platform sharing. If in case you can, as Karan explained earlier, that the document can be shared from one entity locker to another entity locker. So of course, whoever is being sharing and to whom it is being shared, they both have to be in the same ecosystem.
Okay. Thank you.
There was one question I can just say, what is the difference between DigiLocker and Entity Locker? DigiLocker is catering to individual citizens of India, Aadhaar holders. Entity Locker is catering to entities registered in the state or central acts of India.
Is there any system for getting reminders for any certificate due for renewal?
So we do, whenever we are getting data from all of these issuers, we get the data in document and in metadata. So yes, we will be working on active reminders and push notifications to organizations, because this is a web platform. There will be a mobile platform also available. So the active notifications can be pushed. Yeah.
Okay, so there is one question. Can this be used to do business KYC similar to individual KYC in DigiLocker? Like, is there a functionality to ask an entity to share specific document? Definitely, this is the question which was answered a couple of minutes ago. So yes, you can have this kind of functionality wherein you can use the APIs which will be extended by Entity Locker, and then you can have these KYCs done for the businesses, and then you can use it further.
You can define your scope of documents which you want. Entity can come and they can give you consent to share the documents from their entity locker system.
Okay, so one question is, can third-party company can access other employees' documents through entity locker? No, sir. This is not possible because the locker word defines it all. So if in case I have my locker, so I will be able to fetch or access my documents only, or whosoever I authorize to. So that is one thing which has been kept very. This locker's word is associated with.
So on our behalf of our member, so I have one question. So if this entity locker, some information, can it be shared with the international bodies if they are outside India?
Yes.
So this is international bodies, as in if in case they are onto this ecosystem. So one entity locker can be the document can be shared from one entity locker to the other entity locker. So if in case that international organization is able to register, which I don't think this is possible, because that international organization must be having the those employees also from outside. And here we are only allowing Aadhaar number to be the first
First identity.
First identity, yes, the first identity, wherein if in case I want to register my organization, so I give my Aadhaar number, authenticate myself, and then I go further.
If any Indian organization is having business
Right.
in the countries, then
They can share.
They definitely can share.
Yes.
And if in case
cross-border is possible.
Cross-border.
right, so if in case we go further, there are a drop down, as Karan showed earlier, that there is a drop down wherein the SIN, Udyam Aadhaar and organization PAN is needed for an entity to register. Okay, so can the receiver share our document to any other without our concern? If so, will it be informed to the sender? Sir, no, it cannot be shared, because there is a consent layer which comes into play here, and whosoever is possessing that document, that person has to give a consent before that document is being shared to anybody else.
I am from Tata Projects. Will Entity Locker allow entities to get regulatory approvals through this platform? Will it integrate with various government approval regulatory agencies? How is sensitive data or competition data or any financial data? So basically, as I mentioned, one of the stakeholders are regulators who are already a part of this Entity Locker ecosystem. They will be sharing documents with consent to these regulators, and whatever data is stored is already encrypted and stored securely in the e-vault system. And the data which they are fetching is actually not present in the entity locker. It is present at the source of truth, and it is in real time fetched from those individual databases. I hope that answers your query. So documents like licenses have validity, yes. So as I mentioned, such licenses and certificates are fetched from their databases. As long as the database has that data in validation available in the database, that document is available. After the expiry of that document will not be available. You will be getting an error message that the document is expired. And we can always work with the partners to get a custom message to get for renewals.
If there is any service support, suppose any of our members, when they are trying to register, they face any problem or any challenges, is there any help desk?
Yes. So what we've done is, right now there is an email which is already there on the website, so you can email us with the support. Very soon we are thinking of alternate channels as well to cater large amount of businesses with their queries. So as of now, you can mail it to us, and we will revert it back. So we have a dedicated support team who looks into this diligently. We will revert it back. Okay. So as I think as regards bank, we can take that question.
As regards banks, it was mentioned that loan documents can be uploaded. Does it mean that this is like a storage for the bank to view the documents, or whether the bank can and the borrower can view them? So basically, see, banks here would be, I'm talking on an entity's perspective. If they've taken a loan from a bank, so these documents, the bank as an issuer will be available on the entity locker, and you'll be pulling in your loan statement and on loan certificate from them. It will, and then later, if you want to share it across to a regulator, let's say CBDT or somebody, then through the requester module, you'll be able to share it across. So this is not like a storage dump of documents. You will be getting original documents from the issuer, and you'll be sharing it across through APIs to whosoever is requesting the document for whatever service there may be.
So is entity locker managed by clouds in India? Yes, sir. Definitely. We are, this is a government application, and we have complied to all the government boundaries, what has been given to us. So any specific document is not supported in entity locker, like passport, or see, passport is entity locker. We are talking about the businesses here. So passport being an individual document that can be right now, it is not there in DigiLocker also, because we are constantly in touch with Ministry of External Affairs to how this integration can be done. But as of now, entity locker platform passport is not available.
I think to add on to this, we just try to create a difference. Any document which is in the name of entity will be available on the entity locker. Documents which are issued to individuals will be on DigiLocker. These are two separate identities, two separate portals.
Does the system support multiple authorized user for a single entity? Is entity locker has API to integrate with organizations application? Yes. We have multiple users can be done. So how it is done is, if in case I am a nodal officer of one organization, so I register that organization, and then I can, as Karan showed, that is user management functionality is already there. So I can add those users into my account, so on the behalf, and give them the access so that they can go on to this portal and perform the activities. And yes, the APIs are definitely available right now, and whosoever is seeking these kind of APIs, so they need to come on to this portal, register with us, and then we will engage with them. We will extend the APIs as well, and the dedicated team of onboarding team of entity locker and DigiLocker shall connect with them, and then take them through.
There was one question that if an entity has their PAN, but they don't have their Aadhaar. So that's why we mentioned that. See, first of all, Aadhaar, I hope we're talking about Udyam Aadhaar. If we're talking about Aadhaar of an first, the individual's Aadhaar is verified. Then for the entity, we have already given them multiple options. So you have to choose either one of them, not all of them. Right? So it could be send-in, or Udyam Aadhaar, or organization PAN. Any one of these you can use to validate your entity.
Just to add to it, when we were showing that what are all the options, so those all options are in the drop down list. So when you select one, and then you go further. Yes, so we can take. Okay, how to get on board to start using the APIs? What is the exact procedure? Yeah, so you can visit this entity locker platform. You can register onto our platforms, and then you can probably get the APIs, and also you can go on to this partners website and then register with us as partners as well.
And then we from MeitY will always help you handle through the whole process of integration. So what is the process of changing the authorized representative upon an organization's official authorized letter of power of, which document coming? The admin has a power to change that. If it's, for any instance the admin is leaving the organization or there is a difference, that entity can definitely write to us, and from there we can change the admin details for whosoever upon written confirmation and approval. Yes.
Right. Okay, so yeah.
If you're already a member in DigiLocker partners, like see for DigiLocker partners. So once you become an issuer on DigiLocker, I hope you're talking about. No, this is for the requestion module. No, for entity lockers there will be different APIs. The APIs which are available for DigiLocker are for that use case only. We will be sharing the APIs for entity locker soon to the partners.
So there is a question from Medha. I think, is there any fees associated to this? As of now, no, Medha. So this is a government application, and similar to DigiLocker, this has no fees associated as of now. Whether we can use that in mobile. So I think I missed that question. So. Okay, yes, you can. So when you register through Entity Locker on Entity Locker, there is Aadhaar number which you give as your identifier, as an individual's identifier, and then you move further. Right? I think that answers your question. Did a business have to upload their financial documents? There is no have to, sir. Mr. Shubham. So there's no have to. You may upload this. This is your locker. This is your platform. So this is for your benefit. You can come onto this platform and fetch those documents and upload which are not there.
Just adding to this, yes. See, you have to decide on what all documents you want to make it available on this locker. Let's say you want to give your audit reports to a regulator, then you can upload those statements and banks, make it available on a vault. So you have to decide on what use case you want to use entity locker service. There is no mandate that you have to offload all your documents into the system, but as per use case, you can keep your documents. And the point is not keeping documents, the point is sharing across in an ecosystem. So you can use that accordingly.
Okay, so again, Medha has come again. Can regulatory certificate given to government authority, for example, safety wireless certification, directly uploaded in the entity locker? So yes, Medha, it can be uploaded, and I would give you again, I would re-mention it that you can fetch those certificates as well. Many of the licenses, many of the documents, as I told earlier, as we spoke earlier, that 46 of the issuing organizations with 82 document types are already on board. So if in case you want to have a look, you can definitely go on to this website, and as Karan showed earlier, that there is on the dashboard itself, on the landing page itself, we have shown all the issuing authorities which are there with us. So you can go and see it for yourself, and you can explore the website, of course. I think when you go, and I would rather take this opportunity on this platform, that I would rather also tell the participants to go onto this platform, register yourself, see for yourself that what exactly it is, how it can be beneficial, because in a presentation of 30-40 minutes, it's really very difficult to show you the exact benefits and everything. But please go on to this website. I think we may also, if the organizers can permit, we can have the link of the website onto this chat, and then probably people can go there and see for yourself.
I think that we can take one or two questions.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know the time permits. Yes, we can. Okay. In this impact on existing DigiLocker APIs, which is already integrated with our application, no, Mr. Shiva Prasad. This does not impact any, as this was the question, I think, taken a couple of minutes back as well. that there's two separate APIs which is working. The DigiLocker API will work as it is with your applications. These are another set of APIs which is already been uploaded in the resource section of Entity Locker websites. You can go for yourself. You can see the resource section. There are the Entity Locker APIs document is already uploaded.
One question I'll take from Mahesh Mohan. Sir, when you are issuing documents as job advice letters, so that will be coming on, and it is issued to individual candidates. So it will be coming on the DigiLocker platform.
Okay, I saw a question there that if you can give this presentation. This presentation, I'm sure we will arrange this presentation to be uploaded into the resource section of our website, so you can go there and have a look and probably integrate with us later. Hope to see you soon.
Sure. So we have come to an end. Okay, and I again like to thank all our members for joining in for this enterprise session on this entity locker. So I hope all these queries has been addressed by our experts, Mr. Prasoon and Mr. Karan. And if any other query is there, please drop us a mail and we will forward it to our experts, and I will arrange to get the response. And now, once again, I express our sincere thanks to Mr. Prasoon and Mr. Karan to get us through this journey of the entity locker. And it was quite helpful. I think our member will also appreciate its features and everything. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
having us.
Thank you.